and welcome to the next video on DeWitte. This video is his interview with Internal Affairs, as well as the incident itself that he is talking about. The audio is from the interview, but the overlay is from previous videos I did, so you're not just staring at photos. But the part with the actual incident is the original recording. I have gotten a lot of comments about Vidler and Ramsey, and although I don't agree with what they did, I can see why they did. Jeremy was warned so many times, arrested so many times, and he refused to change. He truly was a nuisance. I welcome comments about it, but I do ask you to please be respectful and to not use vulgar names or to just insult police in general. You are entitled to like them or not, but it doesn't need to be said rudely. Hope you enjoy.
What's up, guys? Just going to the sheriff's office. Just pulled in, going to Internal Affairs. Let's see what's going to happen. We'll figure it out one step at a time. Motor one's rolling.
Please raise your right hand so I may swear you in. Do you swear from the testimony you are to provide will be true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I understand that there was an incident the other day, and you had reached out to us. I saw that you came in the lobby the other day and wanted to express some grievances about what took place. So you want to just describe to me what it is that you are here to complain about regarding the conduct of our deputies.
With all due respect to you, Sergeant, I talked to your captain this afternoon.
Captain Espinosa,
right.
Yes.
I didn't call Internal Affairs. Captain Espinosa called me.
Right.
Again, with all due respect to you, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And apparently when I say with all due respect, and then I say when I say it sounds disrespectful. But I honestly don't believe that me wasting my time with Internal Affairs is good. I mean, or time-wise. We've contacted Internal Affairs. We've given you guys videos in reference to Sergeant Vidler's behavior and things that he's done behind the badge using Orange County authority.
Mm-hmm.
And those videos got misplaced or lost or whatever.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Mr. DeWitte.
Okay.
My name's Justin.
Okay.
You can call me Justin if you'd like. You have never been here and spoken with me.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you came down to professional standards?
The last time was when I made a report about Sergeant DeStefano, 2014 or 15.
Okay, so you have not been here in the last 2 years since Sheriff Mina has been sheriff, correct?
I haven't, that's correct. But an attorney did come into Internal Affairs and provide a data stick with multiple videos of Sergeant Vidler that we've taken from our body cameras, our dash cameras, and our office security footage.
Okay.
And that went missing.
Okay, well, I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
Okay.
And that particular video complaint was withdrawn by the person that was making that complaint.
I think the point that Sergeant's making is we're not here to rehash those things. They're available for you to make a statement if you want to about what took place.
Sure. Yeah. So I think what I'm trying to say is that you have not been here in the last couple of years. I have been down here for just, I guess, almost a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have never met you.
Okay.
And I have never heard your story.
Roger.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And so that's what I'm here to do now, is to understand what it is that took place and what it is that the grievances that you have. I'm here to listen to them. Okay. So I don't know what those previous experiences were like, but right now, under this administration, I have been tasked with looking into this. Okay. And so I'm sorry that you feel that way about previous experiences down here, but I'm here now to hear what you have to say.
Roger.
So let's start with the most recent incident, and then we can decide whether we want to go beyond that for right now.
Okay.
So my myself and another unit, we were leaving to go to do an escort. And when we got on I-4 at OBT we got onto I-4 from the OBT, the new on-ramp off of Michigan, we noticed the blue Taurus that Vittler drives. However, it wasn't directly behind us at that current point. We did notice that it was continuing to kind of keep pace with us while we were driving down I-4 through downtown Orlando. I then noticed...
When did you first notice?
As soon as we entered I-4, it was pulled over to the side of the road on like an emergency lane, on the emergency lane of I-4 to the far left.
So I-4 in Michigan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As we were driving, we were riding, the car kept pace with us. A Amazon 18-wheeler got in between us. We lost sight of it. We weren't speeding or changing lane, we weren't doing anything stupid, so I really kind of lost track of it. The Amazon truck disappeared. The next thing I know, I looked at my side mirror. I see now a gold Taurus behind his Taurus. And then they started to ride up next to us, while the blue Taurus rode up next to us while the gold car stayed in position. When he was parallel to us, I looked over. I immediately was able to tell it was Vittler even through the tint, and I could tell he saw me. At that point, I immediately flipped on my body camera. When he saw me do that, he dropped back and shifted behind me.
Where did you activate your body camera?
We were coming up on Princeton on I-4. We were coming up on the Princeton exit.
Okay.
As soon as I did that, he dropped behind me, activated lights and sirens. I instructed my man to move over. We shifted over, got off into the emergency lane. As soon as we were on top of pretty much the Princeton exit there, or Princeton overpass, as soon as he opened the door, he got out, weapon out, and advised, he said, "Jeremy, don't go for your weapon." He kept saying my name and don't go for my weapon. I was currently on the phone with somebody. We were talking. In fact, we were talking when I left the office, and I was telling her the whole time, what was happening, what was transpiring.
Who were you on the phone with?
I was on the phone with somebody that currently works for my company. This person is helping me with a lot of things that are happening.
Okay. Are you willing to provide her name?
Is this going to end up on Real World Police by the end of the month?
No. So if she's an identifiable witness to what happened, then there's a potential that I may need to speak with her. So
her name's Jennifer Burton.
Okay.
I immediately advised her that it was Vittler. She even was shocked that I was saying that it was Vittler that was next to me. I then advised her that he was falling behind me to activate, and then he was activating his lights and sirens.
And is Jennifer Burton an employee of yours?
She's not an employee, she's a contractor. But yes, currently.
Okay.
We then pulled over. Like I said, she was on the comms talking to me. I advised her as soon as Vittler got out and started saying my name, and he had his weapon out. She's like, "He's screaming your name." I said, "Yeah, he has his gun out at me." She didn't know that was happening, but then I explained that he had his weapon on me and he was ordering me to the ground. He then kept saying, "Don't go for your gun. Don't go for your gun." Then he had me go on the ground prone. Once I was on, he kept saying the same thing over. And he's like, "Do you hear me?" I said, "Yes, Vittler, I hear you." When he got, I'm sorry, I forgot, Sergeant. When he got out of the vehicle, he said, "Don't go for your gun." I was like, "I'm not." So he heard me speak, And the reason why I bring that up, not to get off too far off topic, is Sergeant Vittler has told me multiple times he knows that it's me and all of this that's happening because he recognizes my voice all the time. But then when he gets out of the vehicle, of course he already said my name, so he knew who I was. But now I've spoken to him, and now he's heard my voice. So now he acts, and then later on writes in his charging affidavit he didn't know who I was at first, which is interesting because now I've spoken. So he's saying that he knows this all these crimes are supposedly made because of my voice, but today he doesn't know my voice. So is he lying then or is he lying now? You know what I'm saying? So after I go prone, he comes up, he has Reeves cuff me. I'm assuming, because I don't have his body camera, that he would still have me at gunpoint. At that point, Reeves cuffs me. He comes over, takes my weapon. And then he says, when then I start asking him what he's doing, he says, I'm pulling your weapon to verify if it's a gun or not. And I said, you know it's pepper ball. He's like, I don't know it's a pepper ball weapon. I was like, you're full of shit. And I said to him 3 times, I was like, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. You know it's pepper ball. You've had emails from Stephen Casey Miller. You've had emails from Hassan Moore. You've had emails from everybody, which way, shape, or form, telling you that it's pepper ball. Me and you have had encounters multiple times that you know it's pepper ball. I didn't get to explain to him then, but me and him have even been in Blue Jacket Park with 12 Orlando police officers around us, and he tells me straight to my face on body camera that he knows that it's a pepper ball weapon and he wouldn't take me into custody the day he arrested Randall Brochus for open carrying.
I'm sorry, just repeat that last part.
When we were in Blue Jacket Park,
okay,
one of the off-duty deputies that hit me with his truck that we were trying to have Internal Affairs investigate, but Vittler said that Internal Affairs didn't want it, so he had his sergeant talk to me.
When was that?
That was the day I came to the sheriff's office to meet with him. I'm really sorry, I don't recall. If I can get a hold of Jennifer later on, she has all the information.
Okay, and so what was said on that day?
In that meeting?
Yeah.
There was
Blue Jacket.
Oh, at Blue Jacket. Blue Jacket Park, the deputy had hit me, then left the scene. They called 911, and they even told 911, OPD 911 dispatchers that I didn't have a weapon. But then later on, the charging affidavits come out saying that I did, that Vittler wrote. But anyways, at Blue Jacket Park, Vittler advises me that I'm not under arrest because he was arresting Randall Brochus, one of my contractors, because Randall is a D, G, and K instructor for security, and he had his weapon. A lot of the guys at that time that were security, when they weren't working security, they carried their weapons. Brochus had his weapon on. I was unaware that that was illegal. However, he was arrested that day for open carrying. I immediately called my attorney's office and I spoke with his assistant and advised him what was going on. When I was explaining to his assistant what was going on, Vittler overheard me, and he came over to me on body camera and my body camera, which is miraculously also disappeared, stated to me that I wasn't being arrested. He knew that it was pepper ball and that it wasn't a firearm, and I was in no way, shape, or form being arrested or in trouble. So that was Blue Jacket Park incident.
I know you don't remember the exact date.
Sure, yeah.
But are we talking a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago,
been almost a year now,
ago?
yeah.
Been about a year?
Yeah. Maybe a little longer. I thought with everything going on that Internal Affairs was going to be involved. I left messages for that, but then Vittler told me that Internal Affairs wasn't investigating it, that they didn't feel that it was, and his sergeant, who wasn't actually his sergeant, it was a person that was filling in for the sergeant while the sergeant was out on medical leave, sat in the room with me, Ramsey and Vittler, or myself, Ramsey and Vittler, and had me cant the story to him. And at the end, he said that he didn't see any policy violations. And pretty much I was taking a walk. So, but that's what happened with that incident.
Okay, so you're saying that's why he knew it would be a pepper ball gun?
Correct. Well, I mean, not only that, but we've had multiple other encounters and conversations where they know it's pepper ball.
Vittler's written you how many tickets?
Vittler's actually never written me. No, he's written me 4. He's written me 4.
On 4 separate occasions or 4 at one time?
2 on one time and 2 on the other time.
Well, there were 2 that I just got dismissed in front of Judge Adams last week, separate from the wrongful arrest that we're talking about right now. One of which was improperly written up as
misrepresentation of
insurance, which isn't a statutory violation, and we got it dismissed because Jeremy had insurance, presented insurance, and whatnot. But that there were two on that.
That was disputed in court, and that
was dismissed by the judge. Right. That was dismissed last week. That was two at one time.
That is correct. Right.
But I thought he's written you more than those two times.
No, he hasn't, but Ramsey has. Ramsey wrote me multiple times. Okay. Yeah, multiple times. But the reason why Vittler wrote me the no insurance information was because he knew not only 3 weeks prior he called my insurance company and had my insurance canceled. He called himself. We have the video where I actually call the insurance company and I speak with them, and they advised me that he called, identified himself, gave his badge number and all of his information, and had my insurance canceled for my company. So
who did that?
Sergeant Vittler. It was. That's probably why he was very shocked, and then he came up with I gave false information for insurance that day because he thought my insurance was canceled. Okay. And it was, but then what my wife and I did, we didn't know. We just reissued the policy.
You say you have video or audio of that?
Yes. Of the actual talking to the insurance company? Yes.
Of Vittler talking to the insurance company, or you talking to the insurance company?
Me talking to the insurance company, but then she reads the notes from the screen and she advises Sergeant Vittler, Orange County Sheriff's Office, badge number, so and so and so and so, as she's advising me that information.
Okay, and you can provide me with that audio?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
is that a complaint that you are bringing forth that you feel like that was done in error?
I believe that's overstepping power, sure, yeah, to be calling my insurance company. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we could go, we'd be here all day. But
I can't be here all day.
Right. So back to the I-4 incident.
I just wanted to make sure that I'm clearly understanding the complaints you're bringing forward, and so that I can address them.
Right.
So with that one, you can provide me the audio with that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Okay.
I think it would be fruitful for both Mr. DeWitt and my perspective for him to put together maybe a timeline of some incidents, okay, and then provide you with whatever audio, video, or other information we have to help support those complaints, because it extends well beyond this one unarrest case. It's been an ongoing.
You're certainly within your right to do that, and we will take whatever you provide and review whatever you'd like to provide. Okay.
So let's back to this.
So then he tells me that I'm being arrested for open carrying of a firearm. And when I ask him to clarify that, he clarifies that I'm being arrested for open carrying of a firearm. And again, that's when I tell him he's full of shit. They then put me up against the wall and tow my bike. And then later on, the charging affidavit, they bring me back here to motor operations off of 33rd. And they had the transport deputy, Alexander, take me over there. I asked multiple times for a lieutenant or captain. Obviously, that's not required to be given to me, and I understand that, but I did ask because, as I stated multiple times on everyone's body camera, it didn't make sense how today I was being arrested for open carrying of a pepperball weapon when they already knew what it was.
Is that a complaint you're bringing forward, that you were requesting a lieutenant and captain and none was provided to you, or you weren't? Nobody spoke?
Is that something against policy? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to take everything that you say and address the policy violations as an investigation proceeds.
Sure.
So I just wanted to
yes,
understand. Okay.
You fast forwarded through something that you've told me about.
Okay.
On the roadside, you kind of skipped ahead because we got off tangent on Blue Jacket Park.
Sure.
The relevance of him knowing your voice was in part because he ended up taking your helmet off.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. After Reeves was behind me with his weapon, Vittler was behind me with his weapon, and Reeves was putting me into handcuffs, they then went to my other contractor and made sure the same thing. He was on the ground, but they made sure he wasn't carrying. I'm sure Reeves was behind me. I was looking at the ground, so I can't really tell you where everyone was at the time, but I could hear Vittler because of his little. He has on one of his motor boots a pin, so when he walks, it clicks. So I know whose Vittler's boots are and who Reeves was. So he goes over and verifies that my contractor isn't carrying his weapon. And then he comes back to me. When he comes back to me, he then starts to go for my camera to shut it off, and I pull away, and I say, get away from my camera, bro. What are you doing? Leave my camera alone. He keeps going for it. At that point, I was telling Jennifer where we were to get my motorcycles because I didn't want them to get towed. He then grabbed it because we were modular helmets where the helmet can close, but then when you open it, it's kind of halfway up here. He grabbed that and started to pull on it, and then as he was pulling on it, he started to pull me. It was only like a foot or two. I mean, it wasn't much, but as he was pulling with me to struggle to pull my helmet off, which is amazing to me, being the fact he's a motor deputy. Then he should know when you're wearing a helmet that you have to take the latch off. So anyways, he's pulling on my helmet because I pulled away from him so he wouldn't shut my camera off. I didn't pull away from him to resist. I just pulled away from him so he wouldn't shut my camera off because he attempted to shut that off first. And when I did that, he then grabbed my helmet and started to pull me. As he was pulling me, my strap was yanking on my throat. And I was like, what are you doing? I kept saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? He's like, I'm trying to take your helmet off so I can identify you. And I said, to fucking identify me? You know who I am. I mean, who, because right before he yanks and then when I tell him not to shut my camera off, leave my camera alone, he rolls me slightly over as he's grabbing my helmet and he says, Jeremy, you're not going to dictate to me how I run my traffic stop. That's when he started yanking on my helmet and I was like, what are you doing? Why are you pulling on my helmet? And he's like, I'm trying to get your helmet off so I can identify you. It would be about, I want to say 2 to 3 feet. I mean, I want to
say he dragged your body?
Yeah, well, he was pulling on my helmet. It was dragging me back as he was yanking on my helmet.
Okay.
At that point, he takes my helmet off, takes it off, and then pulls my mask down to say that it's me. But while he was yanking on my helmet, my mask slid down anyway, so he knew who I was way before the actual helmet came off my face. So back to now I'm in custody on the side of the road. Alexander gets on scene. They put me in the back of the car, and they're still saying it's open carry, which I'm arguing with them as they're putting me in the car. How is this possible today? And Vittler kept saying, no, it's a firearm, it's a firearm. And I was like, you just cleared it. You know it's not a firearm. They take me back to motor operations. They bring me into the room. I sit there for, 35, 40 minutes. I really don't remember, but I know Alexander called when we got to the actual office. We sat there, and then Ramsey came in with my duty belt, and he went on, and, of course, they read me my rights at that point. Then Ramsey explained to me that I was being charged with carrying a concealed weapon, and I said, how is that possible that it's concealed when it's in plain view? And then he explains to me that I went on the Dr. Phil show, and because I went on the Dr. Phil show and said on Dr. Phil that the weapon's in the holster, that they consider that concealed. So at that point, I ask him to explain it, and he doesn't really explain it, but then he starts asking me other questions about other ongoing cases, and I say to him, hey, let's focus back on this. And I even kept grabbing my belt and my weapon and saying, let's focus back on this issue here. Why are we talking about A, B, and C? Let's go back to this. You're saying that it's, and I kept repeating the exact same words. You keep saying that it's concealed carry because it's in the holster. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense. And how come it's today when we've had multiple occasions where we've met,
Okay. And what was the response to that?
He said that the reason why I have never been arrested before is because no one really understood what the pepper ball was. He even brings up an incident where Deputy Reeves, who's also on scene the day that I was arrested, he even brings up an incident when Deputy Reeves in his car before he got issued to an unmarked, he was in a Impala years ago, and he just rolls down the window and he's like, Jeremy, you're a convicted felon, you can't carry a gun. I was like, Reeves, it's pepper ball, it's not real, it's a less lethal. And he's like, oh, okay, and he drives away. We talk about that incident. And then he goes on and on again about the other stuff that's going on in the other cases, and I keep telling him we need to go back to this. He brings up Jennifer about how, our past, which is, there's turmoil there, obviously, but what's happening now, she's correcting a lot of things and fixing a lot of things. But then we talk about, again, how the weapon, and then I say to him, I say, well, it doesn't make sense. The day that you kept me on a 3-hour traffic stop, that Chief Krantz, or Major Krantz at the time, Chief now, chastised you, and supposedly he advised me that you were written up for it. You kept me on a traffic stop for over 3 hours. Why didn't you arrest me that day? I had mace and a baton and so on and so forth. And he's like, well, you didn't have the pepper ball gun then. And I was like, okay. But
this is in your interview with Ramsey?
Correct. Okay. I said, but at the same time, I was still carrying a baton and mace, which is still in the same pouches that you're pointing out today now, which still falls under the 970, which is we can carry it as long as it's for safety and protection, and it's less lethal. And he just kept going back to that when the gun's in the holster, it's concealed, and I'm trying to conceal it from them. And I said, but it's in plain view on the hip. I said,
that's why they pulled you over.
Right. And I said, that's exactly why you pulled me over. Because then when Vittler comes into the office, after he typed out the report and everything, I asked Deputy Alexander to stay there too as well. I said, and he asked me why, and Ramsey asked me why, and I said, well, because videos seem to go missing and information seems to be confused when it's just Vittler and Ramsey. So he stayed. But when Vittler comes in, I ask him directly. I said, why were you following me? He's like, well, I'm on the new I-4 task force, or aggressive driving task force. And I said, what the fuck does aggressive driving task force have to do with me? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, did I use my blinkers? He said, yes. I said, every time, right? He said, yes. I said, was I speeding? He said, no. I said, so then why are you involved with me at all? He said, oh, well, I saw you guys get on the highway, and I followed you. What the hell does that mean? You know? Let's see. So I mean, at that point, they pretty much tell me nothing's changing, obviously. They refuse Vittler says the lieutenant's not going to come, neither is the captain. And that's it, really. I mean...
And then they take you out of the jail.
Oh, then they take me to the jail. They booked me. And the next day I get released. I go... you guys had one of your units pick me up, new F-150, nice gentleman. He asked me where I wanted to go, took me over to property. Property advised me and the deputy advised me as well, that they called Vittler twice and he refused to release my property. And he was not going to release my property. That's also on video.
I'm sorry, what video?
I record pretty much everything now.
Okay.
So...
Just to clarify, you were at the evidence facility?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And so the deputy went in and tried to get it squared away, and they refused to release. And they said they called Vittler twice, and he refused to release the property, even though they understood that the charges were reverse filed. The next day, as you know, I came to the sheriff's office. I met with Lieutenant for Mina, his AD camp, and she worked out whatever she did. Next thing, when I went to property...
well, I also called Austin, too.
Oh, okay. I went to property, and they released my property. My helmet was damaged from not only being dragged, but my mic was damaged from being dragged. Which we have video of. My camera was actually ripped off the helmet. The mount that is a 3M sticky mount that's used to mount emergency vehicle equipment under weather of severe conditions, the camera was ripped off. And the damage was shown at the property room. Once I gathered my property and I gathered my motorcycle, which was damaged from the tow, but that has nothing to do with Vittler or Ramsey or anyone else but the tow. However, the damage should have never been done to my bike, and my helmet should have never been damaged had I not been arrested. But anyways, that's so we get the camera back to our office, and thank God that the footage wasn't deleted, because later on in the video, not only do you see everything that transpired from my view, but then you also see that after I've been booked, he's in the Sally Port in the backseat of his cruiser. He takes the camera and not once but twice tries to open the back of it to reformat it. And the camera actually records him doing that. And the reason, it doesn't show his face, obviously. but it's in the back of a blue Ford Taurus with tan interior, and you see the police lights mounted to the roof, and you can see a cruiser next to his cruiser, and you can tell it's the Sally Port. If you're familiar, unfortunately I am, of the environment.
Okay, so you're making an accusation there. I just want to understand what makes you think that what his intentions were.
Being the fact it was ripped off my helmet, and then the camera was turned on multiple times, and the switches were moved on the camera. He just didn't know how to format the card.
So your assumption is that he was trying to
Destroy evidence.
But there's no verbal, there's nothing being said or anything like that. It's just
However,
the camera turns on, it looks like it's manipulated, and then it turns back off. Is that
right? Twice, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But the next thing is Deputy Alexander had already put everything in an evidence bag and closed it and not sealed it, but it was folded over and everything, and he had turned it over to Vittler. So my question is, and I don't know policies here, but once the items are taken as evidence, is it proper for it to be manipulated or touched or used or activated in any way, shape, or form?
Well, I mean, it depends. I have to obviously look into the allegations. So I can't give you any definitive answers right now, one way or the other.
Speaking of evidence, since we're on that topic, and I don't want to get too far off, but the day that Ramsey pulled me over in my tow truck and arrested me, he took my bag, and in that bag was 2 cell phones, my tablet, my wristwatch, and some other stuff. They then transported me to here and interviewed me in reference to all this shit that was coming down the road. He then takes me to jail. I'm in jail, in booking. I'm on the phone with my wife. She advises me that Ramsey just left my house, because he went to my house and questioned her for 2 hours. He just left my house, and while she's on the phone with me, and the best part about it is it's all over the internet, because for some reason jailhouse calls aren't supposed to be released to the internet, and they're not supposed to be released at all. But for some reason, either the state attorney's office or Vittler and Ramsey released them to Real World Police. And I'm going to say that it was Real World Police, Vittler and Ramsey, being the fact that Stephen Casey Miller has resigned due to certain things, and I don't think that's what his intentions were. But again, I'm assuming and I'm making assumptions. However, the jailhouse calls that were of me and my wife talking were released to the internet to Real World Police. And those jailhouse calls, which are only supposed to be for the lead officer of the investigation and or the state attorney's office, it's either one or the other.
All right.
But
so hold on a second there. This is a separate incident you're talking about?
Well, we're going to...
Yes.
So I just need to ask some clarifying questions about that, because you're kind of alluding to some things, and I don't have any context for that. So
right. Okay.
Everything you're talking about with this traffic stop, obviously I've seen body camera video and I've seen your video already, so I'm familiar with what you're saying.
Right.
So when you start talking about stuff that I'm
I
not
apologize,
familiar with, it just sort of starts alluding to other things that I'm not familiar with. So I don't even know what Real World Police is, to be honest with you. So
it's a YouTube channel.
You're behind.
Yeah, it's a YouTube channel that is not only received video from Detective Allen from the Windermere Police Department without public records requests almost 8 months before they ever file a real public records request to the Windermere Police Department, because we did public records requests on who requested what. But also videos from the Orange County Sheriff's Office with no public records request. So the only way those videos... Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so when was it that you were arrested by Ramsey, that the time that you're talking about?
October 19.
When he went to your wife's house?
Right, October 19.
So this is October of 2019.
Correct.
What were you arrested for?
The 2 outstanding warrants from videos from Windermere Police Department. Supposedly from my body camera.
Okay. And so you were arrested by Corporal Ramsey.
Well, 2 fugitive units and Corporal Ramsey. That's correct.
So you were questioned, and then your wife was questioned.
Correct. Well, they took me to jail, right? And then once I got transported to jail, he then went over to my wife and questioned her for 2 hours.
Okay. But your specific complaint about that incident is that jail calls were released?
Not only that, but it gets better. So the reason why that jail call was released was because when I'm talking to my wife on the phone, my wife, we have an app called 360, which is so you can track your husband, or your wife. My wife asks me, she hears a bing in her ear while she's on the phone with me because she's using her cell phone. She looks at the cell phone and she said, "This doesn't make sense." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "Your phone was just activated and somebody's using your phone." I said, "How's that possible? I'm in booking." And she said, "Well, I'm telling you what's happening." I was like, "Okay." So we start talking a little more. So I said, "Well, they have my phone. Corporal Ramsey took my phone and my belongings."
Were your belongings put into property at the jail?
No. He kept those in his vehicle and said they were being seized as evidence. However, the warrant for all my belongings didn't come out until the next day. So
there was a warrant that was issued for your cell phone?
For my cell phone, my office computers, all body cameras for my office. But the reason why that warrant was issued was because Corporal Ramsey then takes my phone by going through it, because during his interview, he kept asking me multiple times where my new office was. And I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble or not. That's why my attorney's here. But with all due respect, Sergeant, I told him I didn't know where it was. So I had just moved there. I didn't even actually honestly know what the address was. But neither here nor there. He takes my phone, and because of 360 Live, it has my actual office address in it. My wife then follows him via her phone while she's telling me this on the jailhouse calls. It was multiple calls. She follows him from our house to my new office. And then she looks on the cameras at my office, because I had wireless cameras, security cameras, and she sees him walking around my office. It was like, I think, 8 o'clock at night. The next day...
Walking around your office on the exterior?
Correct.
Okay.
The next day, for some reason, a judge issued a search warrant, which then they were able to get a search warrant on my office that they never knew the address for, ever, the next day, the next morning. But, I mean... that would be a complaint. I don't think once you take something as evidence, you should be using my phone and going through my phone and then finding an address to drive to my office, then to subsequently file for a warrant.
Okay. Basically, the complaint is that he violated our client's constitutional rights. I mean, getting a warrant, if a judge deems that a law enforcement sworn statement justifies getting a warrant, then that is what it is, and we have a process we can go through to challenge the appropriateness of the warrant. I think Mr. DeWitte's complaint, more artfully articulated, is that his rights were violated, that Sergeant Vidler, without his permission and without a valid warrant, utilized his phone in order to obtain additional information that was then used to get a warrant after it was unlawfully obtained.
Okay.
So a search warrant was ultimately obtained for the phone, but you're saying it was after he'd already went into the phone.
Correct.
Okay.
And I know that for a fact, and that's on the jailhouse calls. And then the request for the search warrant that was done by Corporal Ramsey says that I spontaneously, during the interview, told them that I have all the videos in my office, and I spontaneously gave them the address. And I can tell you, Sergeant, that both of those spontaneous let-goes of information never, ever happened. So...
that's what's written in the affidavit?
Affidavit for the warrant request, yes.
Okay. Do you know if that interview or was that recorded?
Yes, sir. In fact, it's on the internet.
No, the interview,
with Ramsey.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the internet.
The interview with Ramsey,
Yep.
where you provided that information according to the affidavit.
Oh, yes.
That
you
was
never hear
recorded
me give that information. That is correct.
Okay. And just to be clear, because you made a reference to Vidler there, so I want to be clear, was it Ramsey that your wife saw walking around the office?
That is correct, yes.
Or Vidler, or both?
Well, she doesn't know what Vidler looked like, but another unit showed up in unmarked, a blue car, as she said, but she didn't know back then she didn't know what Vidler looked like. She knows what he looks like today, but she didn't know back then.
Was there 2 people that were there?
That is correct, yes.
Wasn't that all recorded?
It was, but in the search warrant, they seized my hard drive for the security cameras. So I have no way to go back and look at that. So
there should be video of the two law enforcement officers that we believe to be Vidler and Ramsey, or at least Vidler and somebody.
Well, definitely Ramsey, yes. But yes, and
Ramsey, so.
yeah. And then, of course, you can go to the jailhouse calls that are on the internet that have been leaked. And hear my wife telling me that information.
And that's what you and your wife were discussing then?
At that time, yes, on the phones, yes.
And just to be clear, they were conducting an investigation into the ongoing investigation that was already the arrest warrants were issued.
The 2 warrants. That is correct.
So they were conducting an ongoing investigation. You're alleging that they didn't know where your office was, and that they got that information out of a phone that was seized as evidence.
Right, because he uses my phone and it alerts my wife while she's on the phone with me. Again, if you go to the Ring or the jailhouse call, you'll actually hear her say, "That's weird." And I say to her, "What is it?" And I've heard it many times on YouTube. And she said, "Your phone just activated and let me know that you're traveling to your office."
Okay. And that was October of 2019?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But did you make a complaint about that previously?
No, sir. Again, at that point, since the video no longer, Sergeant Wasco with Internal Affairs sent an email saying that they no longer felt that the investigation had any information, and they've destroyed the video, was what they sent to somebody that requested that information.
I'm sorry. When did... Say that again, just so I'm clear.
The video, the data stick that was turned over that shows Vidler going into opening the window at my office, pushing one of my men off the road while on a funeral escort, walking around and taking pictures through windows on private property. All those videos were on a data stick that was turned over by an attorney, and they signed off on that. Sergeant Wasco advised the person that sent an email requesting that information and getting that video back, advised that video no longer existed, that it was destroyed because they felt that it didn't warrant any further investigation.
And that's what you're talking about what we talked about at the very beginning of this, right?
Right.
That video? Okay.
Right.
And I told you that one was already addressed and that complaint
right,
was
you guys
withdrawn.
stated that there was no policy violations is what I was advised, not that it was withdrawn. That was the first time I've ever heard it was withdrawn.
Okay.
Sergeant Wasco advised me that they saw no policy violations.
Okay. You spoke to somebody or you just got an email?
That email was from Sergeant Wasco in reference to the items being deleted or destroyed. But I spoke with Sergeant Wasco, and he advised me that they saw no policy violations.
And that was in professional standards?
Over the phone, but
a sergeant in professional standards?
Yes, sir. Sergeant Wasco was his name.
There hasn't been a Sergeant Wasco in professional standards, so to my knowledge. So are you sure about the name? Do you have the email that you can provide?
I can get you the email, and
okay.
I can get you that information. But yes.
Okay. So just to clarify, what you're saying.
That's interesting. I mean, that would make me understand why more that it doesn't seem nobody contacted me in reference to those videos, and I was led to believe that there was no.
And so if you can provide that email, I can look into it.
Yes, sir.
And was that correspondence strictly via email? You didn't have any phone correspondence?
I received the phone call from Sergeant. Well, I called and I was transferred to Sergeant Wasco.
Okay.
And he advised me that there was no policy violations. However, the email was sent shortly, a little later on, because we were trying to get the data stick back from Internal Affairs, since it was mine with our videos, then we were advised that it was destroyed.
Okay.
From Sergeant Wasco.
Okay. And that's what we spoke about at the beginning.
Right.
Okay.
Can I ask who Sergeant Wasco is then? If he doesn't work for Internal Affairs, why would he have medics?
No, there is no Sergeant Wasco. Could it be a Corporal Wasco? That's the only Wasco that...
Maybe he is a corporal. I could have sworn he said sergeant, but,
So this was back in 2019?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just, I'll have to look into that. That's the only Wasco I know of.
Well, then it was
but
probably
that was-
corporal. I apologize.
Okay. So I'd have to look into that.
I've had a few extra corporals and sergeants in my life that I kind of have lost track.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other complaints that you'd like to bring forward?
Not without getting in trouble. I mean,
I think maybe we can review a timeline of incidents together.
Okay.
And then provide you with a supplemental statement.
Okay.
Happy to, if we have to come back and formally do it under oath, we can do that. I'd feel a lot more comfortable speaking to Austin and whoever my counterpart now is at the state attorney's office to make sure that we're not running afoul of things that I may need to prohibit Mr. DeWitt from getting into, because we do have active litigation pending.
Okay.
So that might be the more prudent way to approach that.
And the only thing that has nothing to do with these cases is Sergeant Vittler in uniform behind his badge went and showed my paperwork to all of my contracts, all my funeral homes, as well as my 2 tow truck contracts, which immediately then fired me. Most of my funeral homes have been with me for 10 years, so most of them stood by me no matter what was happening. I did lose one funeral home because of it, but I did lose my tow truck contracts immediately after Vittler went there, and they described him to a T, and one actually showed me his business card. So I'm a little confused and I don't want to speak like that because I know that has nothing to do with you or what he's doing, but
Well, it does have to do with him.
why a deputy behind his badge would use his Orange County's name to go to a tow truck company and tell them all about me, that the clients that I'm picking up vehicles for, which is funny because I wasn't even the one doing the tow truck work. I had people doing that, was putting those people in jeopardy.
Okay.
And,
You, just to be clear, you're saying behind the badge. So what are you
full
saying?
uniform.
Okay, so you're saying he's going in uniform,
Right.
representing
The Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and that is Sergeant Vittler?
That is correct.
Okay.
And
When did that happen?
Shortly, within 3 days of my arrest from Corporal Ramsey on the 429.
And that was October 2019?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, just explain to me, how did that come up? How did you know that had happened?
Well,
How was that brought to your attention?
I was released the next day. The judges released me on bond. I went the same day to get the tow truck. We put it back to work, went to go get work the next day, and both of the 2 clients that we did have advised us that Sergeant Vittler came and told them this and this and this and that, provided proof, showed them documents, gave them business cards, and told them they should fire us, which they did. And that goes to the same as...
What are the names of the clients?
One's Copart, and one is AATR.
What are those? What is Copart?
Copart is it's where wrecked vehicles go for insurance. They're auctioned off at auction. Per Florida, to have a tow truck business, you have to have certain licenses to go out for on-call services for hire, as they call it. But Copart and AATR are not for hire. They are in-house. You go and pick up the vehicles that are from wrecked and that insurance companies have deemed unsalvageable. So they total them out. You go pick them up and then take them to the impound or the salvage yard.
Okay. How do you spell Copart?
Copart, C-O-P-A-R-T.
Okay.
Is there a hyphen?
No, just C-O. And then...
AATR, are they the same type of business?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so you spoke with somebody there, and they told you...
Both locations, the AATR, the actual owner, advised me, and then Copart in Apopka, off of OBT. The gentleman there, I went, and the gentleman there advised me that it was Sergeant Vittler and showed me his business card as well.
Was that the owner?
No, he's just the main manager for the facility over in Apopka.
And then how about the funeral home that terminated your
Well,
contract?
let me just be clear real quick about the tow truck thing. You own a tow truck company? Is that...
Yes, sir.
What's the name of that company?
Metro State
So
Tow.
it's part of...
The Metro
Are they
State.
2 separate entities? Or
They are 2 separate, but it's under the same EIN. So, I mean, because I'm a DBA, so technically I have the same EIN.
So it's Metro State Towing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And and then the funeral homes?
The Gillespie Funeral Home in Winter Park, Sergeant Vittler went there and, gave them their storyline, and they stopped using us. My other funeral homes, they all advised the same thing, that Sergeant Vittler went there and tried to get them to cancel me. And none of them did, except for the Gillespie Funeral Home.
Okay.
There's a long list, but we don't want to go,
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now.
All right. Yes, sir.
Okay. So all of that took place after the arrest in October 2019?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you make that complaint to the sheriff's office before?
No, Sergeant. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect your position or the idea of internal affairs. I was under the belief that you guys didn't give a shit, with all due respect. I really mean that. This is the first time I'm speaking to you, and I understand that, but when I was told the videos were destroyed and they didn't see policy violations and they weren't listening, it
was disheartening, so he kind of gave up, and then we made an attempt to go to Windermere and file a complaint about the conduct there, and we had an interview, and it not only netted us nothing, but then they tried to use the interview itself as additional information, which is why I was asking what I asked when we began, because our purpose is not to cloudy the waters at all. It's to get some kind of relief.
Okay. So what our job is to, as representatives of the sheriff, is to ensure that all of our deputies are adhering to the policies and procedures of the sheriff's office, and take the complaints that you have brought forward, or any other complaints that are brought forward by anybody, and determine whether or not any policy violations exist. Okay, so that is what our role is, and so I will take everything that you have brought forward today, and I will start looking into these things and provide you with some sort of resolution. It may take me a little bit of time, and like you said, there may be other things that you would like to put a timeline together.
I think it would be helpful because in my perspective, I don't want to get too far into, we're not litigating his cases. That's not your function.
Correct.
Setting aside my criminal defense lawyer hat, I was a prosecutor for 3 years for Lawson Lamar back in the day. I understand what the laws say and don't say. I understand what they do and don't allow him to do. So setting all of the potential defenses and all that stuff aside, it is apparent to me that Sergeant Vittler is acting in a manner that is tortiously interfering with my client's ability to conduct his business. And it's not done under the auspices of lawfulness. It is very deliberately targeting him, much in the same way he targeted him for this unlawful arrest. We just haven't had a very obvious unlawful arrest until this point, but I have had other cases dismissed involving Vittler and Ramsey for the same reasons. I'm not suggesting that I'm unaware of bases that they could get a warrant, do their jobs. I get the processes that are in place.
Okay.
And if those processes were adhered to in an appropriate way, I don't think we'd be in a position to come here and file these complaints. But it far exceeds this one-time, one-off scenario, and that's what concerns me. And the fact that you're willing to hear that out, I think is heartening, because he's been disheartened more than once through this process. So I'd like to get the timeline together, and if you gentlemen determine that you need more information, then I need to have a conversation with Austin and my counterpart to make sure that we're not doing anything to the integrity of our defense, and I'd like to present that information to you so that you can do a thorough vetting of what's happened here.
Because there's a lot more, Sergeant. There's a lot more.
Yeah, we're not going to get into
that.
Okay, so I know that he's speaking on your behalf, but I would like to hear from you. Is that what you believe is going on as well? Is that interfering with your ability to conduct business?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That is your complaint?
I 100%. I know for a fact from funeral homes that Vittler has reached out to them talking about starting his own funeral escort business. And he had somebody that was working with inside my office that was trying multiple times to then blackmail me for 50% of my business, my equipment. That's also on the internet. That was all recorded and put on the internet, where he even says Vittler has me here doing this. He even has the text messages where Vittler talks about black reform, not police reform, and it just on and on. Vittler has had many conversations with this gentleman while stupidly drunk, and I've seen the text, I've seen the conversations when he finally got caught, and he was trying to tell me that he would testify for Vittler unless I gave him 50% of the business, so him and Vittler could start the business, or a funeral escort business on the side. Vittler owns his construction company that is, or handy. He doesn't have a G. I don't know what he has. Fuck, I'm sorry. He's got a GC, general contractor. He's a construction. He owns a construction business, but. This gentleman that was working for me at the time believed very strongly and had the information in text to show me that Vittler was going to help him and provide him the means necessary to go ahead and start a funeral escort business. But that's neither here nor there at this point. So.
All right. So is there any other complaints that you'd like to bring forward today?
No, Sergeant.
Okay. Do you have anything?
Just real quick, this video that was on your helmet camera, yes, are you able to provide us a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I know you said that you and your attorney are going to come up with a comprehensive timeline.
Yes,
they will just follow up with you at that time. I think other than the video, I think the video, has the most relevance for the most recent incident.
Yes, sir.
So we'd like to have that just to retain and review along with the rest of the evidence.
That'd be great. And obviously, you're a sergeant because you've been here for a few minutes. You understand that while we don't have Sergeant Vittler narrating, I am now detaching the camera from this helmet. I am now trying to reset the memory stick. He's familiar with Mr. DeWitte's equipment. He has personally arrested him before. He knows what the policies and procedures are about obtaining evidence and information from someone that's been arrested, and it's not to rip the camera off the helmet, and it's not to tamper with the camera
in the backseat
of a car where he is assuming that he's outside of video shot, because the Sally ports all have video, and I don't know what his cruiser has in it, but that to me seems like a very deliberate attempt to find a space where he will not be recorded while he tampers with evidence. So it's more substantial than just, you're making an assumption. I mean, I think circumstantial evidence is what circumstantial evidence is, and you'll see on the video what it demonstrates.
When you come up with your list of items as well, can you give us the make and model of the camera so we can kind of look and see?
I can tell you right now, it's a Contour Rome 2.
Contour Rome, ROAM?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on the back where you turn it off, is it obvious there's a power button to turn it on and off?
It's up top, and it slides forward, and when you slide it forward, it illuminates red for recording, and when you slide it back, when you open the door, that's where you can reset it. Those switches were all messed with in the attempt to reset it.
Okay.
However, he missed there's a small little hole that you actually have to take a special pin and put it inside to reset, and that wasn't how. I guess he didn't know that.
Is it number 2 or is it?
No, number 2. Yeah, Rome 2.
And then the last question: did your helmet have any damage prior to your encounter with Sergeant Vittler?
No, Sergeant.
Okay. I think that's all I have for now.
You may have said it before, but did you get that property back, or is that still at?
No, I got that property back, and we videotaped it. The wire hanging out and all this stuff broken.
Okay, so you did get that camera back as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
that's how we have the video.
Right.
Okay. All right. I don't have any further questions for you. You've given me a lot that I need to look into. So we'll be in contact, and if you would like to provide anything else, I can certainly take a look at that. Okay.
Yes, Sergeant.
Would you like him to email it to you, or how would you like us to get it to you?
Let me get you my card. I'll write my email and my direct line on there so that you have it. Okay.
Roger.
If the file is too big, we can send you what's called an Axon link. It's familiar with it?
Yeah.
So we can just send you a link via email, and then you can upload it to that.
For videos and stuff. Roger.
Yeah.
Yes, Sergeant.
That's how the state sends me all of our videos.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
It's a lot better than what I have to do in other counties where we're waiting around for recordings and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
was going to take a picture to save you, but I'll be happy to take the card.
And just to be clear, I did request many times. I called motors, I talked to captains, I talked to lieutenants, and I asked many times for help in this matter.
Thank you so much.
So, it's not like I just woke up one morning and then went out and Vittler decided to pull me over and arrest me and I'm asking for help. I've been asking for help for almost 2 years.
Okay.
So,
I think like Sergeant Will was saying, like, we can't speak as to what happened prior to us being here.
Right, I understand.
A little bit.
What I can say is that
I know
I have better ones out there.
I know you said you didn't reach out to us to make this complaint. However, this is our job.
Right.
So when it came to our boss's attention that you're making this complaint, they requested us to interview you to get your side of the story and just exactly what we did. So that's what we're doing here. So we take all complaints seriously. So it's, even though you may have had a bad experience with Windermere or whomever, we're here to hear your side of the story and document that.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Alrighty, let me just,
Time is out.
the current time is 3:10 p.m. and that concludes this interview.
Thank you.
I decided to put this up separately from the last video I did that showed the Windermere incident, the interview with Steve Foster and Sergeant Vittler arresting Jeremy video, because there seems to be some confusion thinking I meant the whole video was all Windermere and had nothing to do with Sergeant Vittler. Also, with me putting this up separately, I can point something out to you all. As you watch this video, you will see it is on a highway. The videos came from the police body cams and not Jeremy's. What most don't realize is that this is one of the videos used by Jeremy to go after Sergeant Vittler. As you watch this video, keep an eye on the houses in the background. You will notice a large house that's easy to see as they are looking that direction. Pay attention to that street, and you will notice for the first part of this video there are no large vehicles in front of it. About halfway through, you will see that there is a van there at that point. That van is the news media that filmed Jeremy being arrested and was played out on the news for days. What was speculated was that the media had been tipped off by police that this arrest was going to happen. I personally do not know if that is true or not, but I wanted you to see that the media does show up out of nowhere, basically right before they picked Jeremy up off of the side of the road and walked him to the police car and then searched him before placing him into the car. To me, the timing is interesting, but again, I cannot say for a fact that it was a setup and not just excellent timing by the news crew. That video will be at the end. Here is the video that this complaint came from, so you can see it all for yourselves. Let me know what you think. Was it a setup or a fluke that the media showed up while it was happening?
Don't reach for that firearm. Walk away from your bike. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Go down to your knees. Do not reach for that firearm. Do not reach for that firearm. Go down to your knees. Go down to your stomach. Do not reach for that firearm. Go down to your stomach now. Do not reach for that firearm. Do not reach for that firearm. You hear me? Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead and secure him. What? He got the firearm on the side. Put your hands on the back. You're being secure because you're openly carrying a firearm. What? You're openly carrying a firearm. There, here. You're destroying my business by doing what you're doing, and I didn't do anything illegal today. I'm not wearing anything over my belt. I'm not hiding anything. You rode up next to me, and you clearly saw it on my hip. So how is that carrying a concealed weapon? It's not even a weapon. It's for less lethal purposes, self-defense purposes. How is that illegal? Sergeant, I'm asking you a question. You have enough cars here to protect us from the accident. So explain that to me. If it's in plain view, when exactly was it concealed? If it's on my belt, your weapon's on your belt, is that concealed? Sergeant, Officer Alexander, your weapon's on your belt. Is it concealed? Can you clearly see that? You know it's pepper ball. It's a firearm. I do not know it's a pepper ball. That looks like a regular firearm.
You know it's a pepper ball, even in case you know it. He even told you in the email that it's a pepper ball.
Stay with him. Do you have anything on you? Roll on your side. All right, go ahead and stand up. You can stay at your bike.
Whoa. Leave my camera alone, bro.
Jimmy.
Leave my camera alone.
No, you're not going to talk to me. Okay, I dictate this traffic stop, not you. You understand me?
What are you yanking my helmet off?
I'm trying to take your helmet off.
What are you yanking my helmet off?
I'm trying to identify you because I can't see you.
You're trying to identify me? Bro, leave my camera alone. What are you doing?
Okay. Go ahead and sit up. Stay right there.
What are you doing?
Hang tight. I gotta. What is this? It is a fire. No, I do not.
You know it's a pepper ball. Stop it, man.
All right, I'm gonna take it up.
Bullshit. Stop with that bullshit.
All right, Jeremy, you're being arrested for carrying a concealed weapon.
Concealed? It was in plain view.
That's not plain view. That's concealed. That holster's concealed.
What are you talking about? How the fuck are you? What are you talking about? It's in plain view. Florida statute 9-7. What are you talking about? Give me a sergeant. Give me a lieutenant. Give me a lieutenant. It was in plain view. It's in plain view. How am I being arrested?
Call for a cage car.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Give me a lieutenant.
Go ahead and stand up, Jeremy.
Give me a lieutenant. Give me a lieutenant. Give me a lieutenant.
Jeremy, just be quiet.
No, give me a lieutenant.
Jeremy, just be quiet.
You can't. Come on, man. Give me a
Got him.
lieutenant.
Jeremy, be quiet.
Give me a lieutenant. This is bullshit. It was a plain view.
Have him call for a record for the bike. Jeremy,
He wasn't talking.
sit down. No, I'm telling you to sit down. Go ahead and sit down. On the ground. On the ground until we get a cage car.
I want you falling back.
It's falling off over the side. Go ahead and sit on your butt. Take your legs out. I checked.
What's the point of carrying a holster?
You're not getting a lieutenant. You're going to be quiet. You're going to be quiet.
Why am I having to? Why is 970 not valid now? Why is Stephen Casey Miller email not valid now? Why is that not valid now? I don't understand. We're not. It was in plain.
Jeremy, listen to me. Jeremy, listen to me.
You guys even told us that. You guys have told us what the fuck. Hey, it's illegal.
Shutting the body camera off to make a phone call.
Sergeant.
Listen, you're free to go. I don't have anything on you. You're free to go. So you can do what you can do what you need.
I need you to call.
You do have a license, right?
Take my phone off my bike right there.
Okay, no, but you're free to
Take
go.
my phone.
No.
Joe, hey, that's my. What the fuck is going on? I wasn't open carrying.
Sit down. Sit down and be quiet.
Where's your
Sit
lieutenant?
down.
Where's the lieutenant? Where's the lieutenant? Where is the lieutenant?
Jeremy, I'm going to explain this to you right now, and I want you to listen up, and I want you to stop running your mouth.
Okay.
All right, you sound like a little child out here running your mouth.
It's
Okay,
not that
listen
you're
to
arresting me
me.
for-
Jeremy, listen to me. I'm going to tell it to you.
Go ahead, Sergeant.
Okay? You're being arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. That's what you're being charged with. When we get off the roadside, I'm not going to argue with you here on the roadside. This isn't the place or time to argue with you. Listen to me. It's not the time or place to argue with you. When we're done here, I'm going to take you back to the station, and then we'll talk about it. But I'm not going to argue with you up here on I-4. It's not the place. It's not the time.
But, Sergeant,
okay?
I'm not
So listen to me.
carrying.
You are. It's a concealed weapon. I said when we get off this roadway, I will discuss it with you. But I'm not going to discuss it with you here. It's not. It's a bad place.
But it's in
So as soon as
plain view, and
as
you
soon
run
as
up next
as
to
soon as the car gets here to put you in the car and the record gets here, we'll go talk.
Yeah,
Okay?
you-
All right. That's it.
Hold up.
I'm sorry, what's that? Yep. All right, what you need? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put him in your car, and then we're probably going to go to our office for an interview. Okay. Okay? The motor office. All right, I'll go through the back. Okay. Do you have anything of value in the bike that needs to be taken?
No, Sergeant.
Okay. I got the keys.
You want your wallet to go with you?
Yeah, bring the wallet.
What's your hat? Sergeant, why am I being arrested for open carry?
Check
Unless
That's locked.
Those are locked.
Oh. Jeremy, do you need your glass case or anything? Jeremy, I already spoke to you and I told you what was going to happen. I told you what was going to happen, and that's what's going to happen.
Even when we had the meeting at the sheriff's office, they said as long as it was in plain view, it wasn't illegal. So if it's in plain view, then how is it illegal?
Transport, make sure it's running.
Yeah, no, he's probably.
I'm going to leave this in your bike because you're not going to be able to take this to the jail.
That's fine.
Okay.
Sergeant, I'm asking you, how is it less illegal? How is it illegal?
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah, leave the keys in the front, right?
Got those keys? Do you want these keys in the bag? You want them to go with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sergeant, if it's in plain view,
All right, we're ready.
still carry.
He's talking to Corporal real quick. We'll come in and get started. Keys, wallet.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Here's the thing, too. My camera's going. When you get him in the car, do not discuss anything with him. Don't talk to him. He's going to be running his mouth all the way. Just ignore it. Okay?
How is that concealed? Sergeant, how is that
Okay, Jeremy, we're going to go ahead and stand up and go back to the car. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
So, Sergeant, how is it concealed if
back
I
here.
wasn't wearing a jacket and you rode up next to me and you clearly saw it? How is it concealed? Can you answer that? Sergeant, I'm asking. How is it concealed? There's nothing. You got no knives in your boots, right? No,
You want to check the boots? Yeah.
You want to take the gloves off, Jimmy? Sergeant, tell me, can you answer that for me, please? If I'm wearing my weapon in plain view, how is it concealed?
Nothing in it.
Sergeant Middleton.
Jeremy, I already explained it to you. I'm not going to discuss it here.
You didn't explain it to me. You're charging me for a concealed weapon.
Okay, but what did I tell you? We'll discuss this back at the station. I'm not going to discuss it out here with you. Just go ahead and get in there, Jeremy.
You're towing my bike.
Check the pocket.
You're towing my bike and you're putting me into custody. for a concealed weapon when it was in plain view. And it wasn't a weapon, it's a self-defense pepper ball. So how is that illegal? Sergeant, Stephen Casey Miller even emailed you saying that they weren't illegal. And your lawyers at your sheriff's office said it wasn't illegal. It's the Velcro. Okay, I got you. Sergeant, even your own attorney.
Okay, hold on.
Your own attorney at the sheriff's office sent you an email saying that it's not illegal for us to carry our pepper balls in plain view.
Okay. Go ahead and get in.
Jimmy, sit down. Sit down, put your butt all the way to there. Put your back against that wall. Slide in. Watch your knee. There you go.
Oh, now you want to be nice?
Gloves. No, just hang tight here until the tow truck. Once I get the bike loaded, we'll go back to the motor office in second floor. Got it. Okay. That's good.
You need a bag or anything for that?
Yeah.
I did not check the wallet. I didn't turn the gloves inside out, but I pressed on them. They handed me the wallet and the other stuff, so I didn't check it. Now you know, but keep the camera running.
Yeah.
All right. I know. Tow and tracks?
Yeah, I'm doing it in the tracks.
Hey, if y'all want to bounce, I'll hang tight with the vehicle.
Sure, let me print it out.
Yeah. You want a gun box or anything for that?
What do you think that is?
Well, from here, I don't... It looks like a gun.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a pepper ball, which you can't tell.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, from here, it looks like a Walther.
Yeah, it does. I thought it was a Glock.
Yeah. But do you want a... I've got a pistol box in my trunk.
Okay.
You want?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you need
One of y'all asked for it. She said she's got one that's coming.
It did say the 38 is coming.
Yeah. I'll hang tight. I'll hang tight here while you go south.
Yeah, he's already there. Yeah, I'm going to do the tracks real quick. If you want to go down there, I'm going to have you in the interview room with okay? And just record it on your body camera, the interview. Okay? So yeah, you guys can go. Ramsey's there. I got to do the paperwork. I can't sit there during the interview. I got to get the paperwork done. At least the probable cause to put them in, and then I'll do the whole report based on the
Y'all put the handgun box right there. Oh.
He's done.
Yeah.
Let him do the tracks and we'll figure out.
Cool.
What's that?
I'll wait for you to do the tracks.
I'm going to give this coach right now.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office has been terminated after the Sheriff's Office says he abused his power during this traffic stop. The veteran officer is accused of holding a grudge against the man he'd been investigating for 2 years. Now 9 Investigates is getting the sergeant's side of the story from the appeals paperwork. Channel 9 Shannon Butler explains why the sergeant says the Sheriff's Office was out to get him.
Keith Vidler is a 30-year law enforcement veteran.
Do not reach for that firearm. You hear me?
An internal investigation into this traffic stop says that Vidler, though, purposely targeted Jeremy DeWitt, a registered sex offender who has a history of arrest for impersonating a police officer. Initially, Vidler said he was pulling the convicted felon over for carrying a firearm, but it turned out it was a pepper ball gun. The sheriff's office, IA, found that the pepper ball weapon was in plain view and not concealed, and that DeWitt should have been released, but he was taken to jail. Vidler went in front of a board who would decide his fate. We tried to talk to Vidler last month about it.
As far as commenting or anything, I can't because I'm not officially terminated. Now, when I'm officially terminated, then I can talk all day long, but until that point, I can't.
He says he still can't talk today, but this paperwork obtained by Channel 9 tells us what Vidler told the board just a few days ago. He said he'd been investigating DeWitt since September of 2019, but in late 2020 was informed by his bosses that the investigation into DeWitt would have to be, quote, shut down, that they could take law enforcement action for violations in their presence, but no in-depth investigations would be permitted. He says there was no contact between him and DeWitt until the arrest of March of 2021. That, he says, shows he wasn't holding a grudge. In fact, he says he didn't know it was DeWitt at first. DeWitt had a pepper ball gun in a holster, and Vidler said he charged him with openly carrying a weapon, and even said he called his supervisor about their arrest, who told him, quote, good job. He says he knew this would be the outcome because he said he was outspoken on the investigation into DeWitt and about other things at the sheriff's office. But after days of taking the case into consideration, the recommendation was for termination. He has one more appeal left. We asked Orange County Sheriff John Mia to weigh in on Keith Vidler's termination. He said he couldn't do that because Vidler still has one more step in this process. As for Vidler himself, he says he too has to remain quiet until the case is over.
Come on, man. Please talk to me. Please. This is fucking killing me. Funeral escort company, they've been fucking harassing me. And Sergeant Vidler, the hillbilly redneck white trash that he is, keeps fucking with me. I'm sorry.
All right. I understand.
Thank you for watching. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Shows me you are enjoying these videos and that you want more of them.